Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Alex?
Yes.
I can't pronounce that last name.
No one else can either.
Can you give me just some insight? If this pipeline, for whatever reason, is not authorized and back, are the oil sands going to dry up and not come to the United States?
Well, I think Mr. Smith talked a little bit about what the options are for oil sands production. I think one thing that should be made clear to everybody in this hearing is that the oil sands are a truly massive resource. Hundreds of billions of dollars have been invested both by domestic Canadian companies, a large amount by American companies, and as Mr. Smith mentioned, an increasing investment by China, by Korea, and their national oil companies. And I think it would not be an exaggeration to state that the oil sands are really expected to be the engine of economic growth for Canada for the next 50 years. And
so you're going to continue producing them and shipping them someplace.
Well, with the investment,
that's really the bottom line. Is that
absolutely?
So that therefore, I want to go to Mr. Simons, if you could, please. I didn't pick up. I'm sorry, I missed who the author. You had some paper that you're referencing,
right?
Some document that was saying gas prices would go up 10 to 20 cents.
Yeah, Dr. Philip Verlager, who's a well-respected oil market economist. He has a newsletter.
And was he hired by someone to do this?
No. He does an independent analysis. And
no, he just decided, I'm going to write a paper, and he wasn't hired by any group.
I can't speak for. I know he wasn't hired.
Could you try to find out? I'm just curious who paid for it, because I don't think many scientists are going to just write a paper without someone paying for it. So I'm just curious.
Actually, oil companies pay for his analysis.
Okay, so oil companies are saying that prices are.
Because if someone's making money off this pipeline, someone's losing money.
Okay, so now, do you know what his track record is in credibility in making these kinds of predictions? Can you find out somehow to show that his record is fairly accurate, that we can expect that, or is this a one-shot deal?
No, the reason oil companies and others in the market.
I'd just like, if you could get back to me on that, I'd like to see that.
He was the first to actually figure out oil market derivatives.
So, and the other thing you were saying, I find it curious, you seem to be trying to prevent Canadian oil sands from going to China. You've said it several times. Is that a fair statement, or did I mishear that? You didn't want it to go to China?
Well, I think there's a whole web of deception saying that this is going to make us more secure when really they're trying to get it to China and to other.
But so we're willing to put potentially 20,000 jobs at risk because of a hypothesis you have or a theory you have that this could go to China. You're not willing to see 20,000 Americans find jobs.
I'm just telling you what the data says. I thought this was an informational hearing, and what the Department of Energy
and
the Department
we ship coal to China every day. And it hasn't had that impact on, if you think shipping it to China is going to raise the price of oil in America, but we ship coal every day to China and we're not seeing that increase attributed to the exporting of coal. I think it's a bit disingenuous in your argument. And the other is that I've got to say, Mr. Simon, wouldn't it make more sense for them to just simply build a pipeline over to Seattle than it would be to take it 1,700 miles down to the Gulf Coast? If they have this clandestine study to ship it to China, this doesn't make sense.
We could debate all day, where the oil should end up, but here's the thing we have to remember. The presidential permit is a green light for a foreign energy company to come take the rights of Americans to protect their land away from them. If there is not a national interest need, the president is ordered by Congress not to.
I hear you. What happens, Mr. Simon, if do you have some kind of inside knowledge that the president's not going to approve this? What happens if he approves it?
I have no idea.
Are you going to be just as outraged as you are now?
I have, absolutely. No, we have been very clear with the administration. We oppose this pipeline.
Do you have copies? Does anyone have copies of these draft conclusions? Do we have a sense of where they're going with the environmental impact?
There is a draft supplemental environmental impact statement that now is available.
And can you give us a short version, because we're running over time here? Do you have a short version? Does it say this is going to be catastrophic and we can't afford to have the 20,000 jobs in America? What's the sense of what it's saying?
It concludes that it won't help our energy.
Will the gentleman yield for just for a moment?
I'm just waiting to hear his answer, please.
I said it concludes that it won't help America's energy security.
Will you yield just for a moment?
I'm sorry?
Will you yield for a moment?
Would you yield to him?
Yeah, I just
I'm
want
over
to,
on
you know,
time, but go
the
ahead.
state, you mentioned a couple of things, and I think the record should reflect that the State Department is not here because they are in the middle of the negotiations and the review and all the other kind of activities that's necessary for them to contemplate and in order for them to make a decision. So they're not here at this hearing. I wish they were, because they feel as though it would be inappropriate for them to be at a hearing when they are in the middle of the negotiations.
Take back my time on the thing. I'm not at.
A couple of
I'm sorry, I've got it back now. I'm not demeaning the fact that they're not here. I'm just simply trying to find out which direction they were going in. That's all. Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
The specific question that the representative asked, I believe, is, has the Department of State indicated where they're going with on the environmental draft environmental impact statement? And what I can tell you is that the first draft environmental impact statement delivered in April of 2010 stated as a conclusion that the construction and operation of the Keystone XL pipeline system would have limited environmental repercussions in the United States. They followed up with a supplemental draft environmental impact statement a month ago that reiterated that finding after reviewing significantly more information.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I might add also that without objection, we accepted the documentation that Mr. Waxman asked us to introduce. We introduced into the record Mr. Thompson's testimony, and I'm asking unanimous consent that we introduce into the record the statement of Mark Ayers, who's president of the Building and Construction Trades Department, AFL-CIO, who in his statement said, the Keystone Pipeline project has been subjected to 32 months of scrutiny through the National Environmental Policy Act, which includes review by 10 federal agencies, as well as numerous state and local agency reviews. The State Department, SDEIS, has concluded that the pipeline would have limited adverse environmental impact during construction and operation, and that it would significantly strengthen U.S. economic security. So you can put that in the record.
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
if I might.